The dead ruled the world long before the aliens came. Cities lay in ruins, highways choked with rusting cars, their drivers long since torn apart or turned into mindless husks. The air carried a sickly stench of decay, the soundtrack of civilization replaced by the distant moans of the undead and the occasional gunshot, proof that some still fought, if only barely. In one such city, buried beneath the shadows of crumbling skyscrapers, a small band of survivors huddled inside a wrecked grocery store. Travis, a former firefighter turned scavenger, peered out from behind an overturned checkout counter, shotgun in hand. Beside him, Ava, a sharp-eyed woman with a makeshift spear, watched the door like a hawk. "How many?" Ava whispered. "At least a dozen outside," Travis muttered. "But they're slow. We can slip out the back." Before they could act, the world changed. A deep, thrumming noise filled the air, vibrating through their bones. The sound was unnatural, louder than any storm, yet eerily smooth, like something massive cutting through the sky. Then the light came. A burst of eerie blue lit up the street, casting twisted shadows of the wandering dead. The groans of zombies turned into an ear-piercing shriek as they flailed in confusion. Outside, the sky cracked open, an enormous alien ship descended, its sleek metallic hull reflecting the fires below. Ava's breath hitched. "What the hell?" Before Travis could answer, the first beam fired. A white-hot energy blast obliterated a section of the street, vaporizing asphalt, cars, and a dozen zombies in an instant. The impact sent shockwaves through the ground, knocking the survivors off their feet. Outside, the remaining undead turned toward the new disturbance. Their rotting bodies, once mindless in their pursuit of flesh, twitched erratically, their cloudy eyes locking onto the towering alien warship as if sensing an entirely new kind of prey. And then, something unexpected happened. The zombies charged. Not toward the humans hiding in the grocery store. Not toward any lingering survivors. But directly at the alien craft. The ship's side panels unfolded, revealing sleek, insectoid warriors descending on gravity-defying platforms. They were tall, clad in shimmering black armor, their elongated heads housing 4 glowing eyes. Their weapons, strange, bone-like rifles, hummed as they took aim. The first shots fired. Bright plasma streaked through the air, striking the approaching zombies. Bodies erupted in flames, limbs torn apart by the sheer force. The invaders advanced in a tight formation, seemingly confident that these slow-moving creatures were no match for their superior firepower. They were wrong. The zombies did not stop. Even with missing limbs, even as they burned, they crawled, clawing forward with relentless hunger. The creatures had no fear, no sense of self-preservation. They only knew the drive to consume. And then it happened, the first alien was overwhelmed. A massive, bloated zombie tackled one of the soldiers, its decomposing mouth latching onto exposed flesh where the armor had failed. The alien let out a shrill, inhuman screech as the virus worked instantly, its body convulsing violently before its movements became sluggish. Within seconds, its eyes lost their glow. Then it turned. The infected alien rose slowly, its sleek black armor now dripping with a sickly, greenish bile. Its movements were stiff at first, but then it lurched forward, its own comrades now the target of its hunger. The other invaders hesitated. And that hesitation cost them. The zombies swarmed, dragging aliens down one by one. Some tried to flee, but the infection spread faster than they could react. Those who were bitten fell almost immediately, twitching and writhing before rising with the same cold, dead hunger. Travis and Ava watched from their hiding spot, eyes wide in horror and awe. "They're turning," Ava whispered. Travis swallowed hard. The zombies don't just want humans. They'll take anything with flesh. A deafening roar split the sky as the massive alien ship attempted to lift off, retreating from the battlefield below. But it was too late. The infection had already spread among their ranks, and the first signs of chaos erupted aboard the vessel, alarms blaring, lights flickering, figures flailing in the high windows of the craft. A deep rumble shook the ground as the ship lost control, tilting sideways. The towering alien war machine, so advanced, so unknowable, was now just another casualty of Earth's plague. It crashed. The explosion was deafening, sending fire and debris into the sky. The remaining zombies, unfazed, turned toward the wreckage, already stumbling toward their next meal. Travis exhaled slowly. Guess they're not as powerful as they thought. Ava didn't answer. She was staring at something just beyond the wreckage. Travis followed her gaze and felt his stomach drop. Silhouetted against the burning remains of the alien warship stood something new. Something that hadn't been there before. Tall, monstrous figures with exposed muscles and elongated limbs. Their skin, formerly smooth and alien, was now mottled and rotting. Their glowing eyes had dimmed into a sickly yellow, and their bodies jerked unnaturally, just like the zombies that had once been human. They were something worse. Something neither human nor alien. Something new. And they were looking right at them. Ava's grip on her spear tightened as she watched the horrifying figures stumble out from the wreckage. These weren't just zombies. They weren't just aliens. They were something else entirely, something new. Their movements were jerky, their bodies twitching as if struggling to control themselves. The mottled flesh of the infected aliens glistened under the flickering flames of their downed ship. They still had the general form of their former selves, tall, insectoid, and clad in fractured armor, but now their heads tilted at unnatural angles, their mandibles clicking erratically. Their glowing eyes, once a brilliant blue, had dimmed to a putrid yellow. And then, they moved. Travis barely had time to react before one of them lunged. It crossed the distance between them in an instant, much faster than the sluggish human zombies they were used to. "Move!" Travis shouted, shoving Ava out of the way just as the creature crashed into the grocery store's shattered window. It shrieked, a sound neither human nor alien, as it writhed against the counter, clawing at Travis with elongated fingers that now ended in sharp, bony spikes. He rolled back, barely avoiding its grasp, and fired his shotgun point-blank into its chest. The impact sent it staggering backward, but unlike a human zombie, it didn't collapse. The wound oozed a strange black-green fluid, but it didn't even slow down. "Oh, that's not good," Travis muttered. Ava spun around, driving her spear through the creature's eye socket. This time, it let out a gurgling screech and collapsed, twitching violently before falling still. "Headshots still work," she panted. "Noted." Travis reloaded, glancing toward the street. More of the infected aliens were emerging from the wreckage, their numbers growing. But worse than that, the regular zombies had noticed them too. The remaining human undead, still stumbling through the ruined city, turned at the sound of the alien shrieks. Something in their simple, decayed brains recognized them as prey. The two forces, mindless zombies and the newly infected alien creatures, stared at each other for a moment. Then, chaos erupted. The street became a war zone as the mindless, shambling hordes rushed toward the more agile but heavily outnumbered alien abominations. The infected aliens fought back with unnatural speed, raking through the zombies with claws and elongated limbs. Some of them still had remnants of their former intelligence, dodging and weaving around their slow-moving attackers. But the numbers were against them. The zombies didn't stop, didn't hesitate. For every one they tore down, two more took its place. The infected aliens had no weapons, no strategy, just their speed and unnatural resilience. But it wasn't enough. Travis pulled Ava back. "We need to go. Now." She hesitated, still watching the carnage unfold. "We're watching two apocalypses fight each other." "Yeah? And whichever side wins, we lose." That got her moving. They slipped out the back, pushing through an alley filled with old, rusting dumpsters. The city was eerily silent beyond the battle raging behind them. The usual groans of wandering zombies were drowned out by the alien shrieks and the sound of flesh being torn apart. Ava glanced up. "We need to find the others. If any of them are still alive." Travis nodded. Their group had scattered when the aliens arrived, and he had no idea how many had survived the initial attack. They moved quickly, sticking to the shadows, avoiding open streets. Every so often, they passed bodies, some human, some alien, some unrecognizable. Whatever had happened when the virus infected the extraterrestrials, it was evolving fast. After several tense minutes of running, they reached their old hideout, a fortified warehouse on the edge of town. Travis banged on the metal door 3 times. Silence. Then, after a long pause, a voice from the other side. Password? Travis exhaled in relief. Screw your password, open the damn door. The locks clicked, and the door creaked open just wide enough for them to slip inside. The dimly lit interior smelled of sweat and stale food. A handful of survivors sat huddled near the back, clutching their weapons. They looked exhausted, but alive. Among them was Jackson, their de facto leader, a former army medic with a sharp mind and an even sharper machete. His dark eyes locked onto Travis. What the hell happened out there? Travis shook his head. The aliens came, but they didn't expect what they found. Ava sat down against the wall, catching her breath. The zombies can infect them. Jackson's expression didn't change, but the room grew colder. The implications hit everyone at once. Are you saying there are zombie aliens now? One of the younger survivors, Eric, whispered. Travis nodded grimly. And they're fast. Stronger than regular zombies. Jackson rubbed his temples. This just keeps getting better. Before anyone could say more, a distant explosion rumbled through the ground. The group tensed. Ava stood up. That came from the alien wreckage. Travis cursed under his breath. We need to figure out what's going on. If they're still fighting out there, maybe we can slip through while they're distracted. Jackson crossed his arms. And go where? For the first time, Travis didn't have an answer. But then Ava spoke. The aliens came here for a reason. They had tech, weapons. Maybe even a way off this planet. Silence fell over the room. Jackson's eyes narrowed. You're saying we should go toward the crash? Ava nodded. If we stay here, we die. If we go there, we might have a shot. Travis exhaled, gripping his shotgun. Then we better move before something worse comes out of that wreck. No one argued. Because deep down, they all felt it, this war between zombies and aliens was only beginning. And whatever was coming next, would be worse. The streets were eerily silent as Travis, Ava, Jackson, and the rest of their group made their way toward the smoldering alien wreckage. The air carried the acrid scent of burning metal and charred flesh, mingling with the ever-present stench of decay. Every step felt like walking toward inevitable death. Travis gripped his shotgun tightly. We get in, we find something useful, and we get the hell out. No heroics. Jackson gave him a sharp look. Define useful. Anything that can kill these things, Ava answered before Travis could. Weapons, armor, intel. We can't just keep running. No one argued. They all knew the truth, humanity had already lost the world. The zombies owned the streets, and now, the aliens had only made things worse. Their only chance was to scavenge whatever they could before the war between the two apocalyptic forces consumed everything. As they neared the crash site, the damage became more evident. The alien warship had plowed through an entire city block, leveling buildings and leaving behind a twisted landscape of burning rubble. Pieces of extraterrestrial metal jutted out from the ground, some still crackling with energy. But the most disturbing sight was the bodies. The ground was littered with them, some human, some alien, some transformed. The infected extraterrestrials, their elongated limbs contorted at unnatural angles, lay scattered among the ruins. Some still twitched, their yellowed eyes flickering like dying embers. Eric, the youngest member of their group, gagged. Jesus, what are they? Ava knelt by one of the corpses, poking it with her spear. The flesh was slick and pulsing, as if still alive beneath the surface. They're mutating. Jackson tightened his grip on his machete. Then let's move fast. The survivors picked their way through the wreckage, stepping carefully over the corpses and avoiding pools of the viscous black-green fluid leaking from the alien dead. Then they heard it. A deep, guttural clicking sound. Travis threw up a hand, signaling everyone to freeze. His heart pounded as he scanned the ruins. The sound was close, too close. Then, from the darkness of the wreckage, something moved. A figure emerged from the shadows, towering over them. It was one of the infected aliens, but unlike the others, this one hadn't fully succumbed to the virus. Its body was still partially armored, and its eyes hadn't completely lost their blue glow. But its movements were jerky, unnatural, as if fighting against something inside its own body. And then, in a voice that sent ice through Travis's veins, it spoke. Human. Ava took an instinctive step back. What the hell? The creature twitched violently, its mouth opening in an unnatural, disjointed motion. Infection. Spreads. Cannot stop. Travis slowly raised a shotgun. You still in there, buddy? The alien staggered, as if trying to keep itself upright. Its hands twitched at its sides, one clawed and mutated, the other still resembling its former self. Must end it. Before anyone could react, the creature let out an ear-piercing shriek and slammed its own head against a jagged piece of debris, impaling itself instantly. The body convulsed violently before falling limp, the yellow glow fading from its eyes. The silence that followed was suffocating. Eric swallowed hard. Did it just kill itself? Jackson exhaled, his grip on his weapon tightening. Whatever this virus is, even the aliens know it's unstoppable. Travis turned toward the wreckage. Then we really need to get inside. They pressed forward, climbing over twisted metal and broken alien tech. The deeper they went, the more unnatural the atmosphere became. The walls of the ship were covered in a strange, organic growth, pulsing faintly like veins beneath the surface. This is bad, Ava murmured. Travis nodded. Yeah, but bad is normal now. They reached what looked like an entrance, an archway of alien metal, its surface flickering with symbols that pulsed faintly. Jackson ran a hand along the edge. If their tech is still working, maybe we can find something useful inside. Travis turned to Eric. You still got those EMP charges? Eric patted his backpack. 2 left. Good. If we run into anything that moves and isn't us, we blow it to hell. Ava took a deep breath. Let's do this. With weapons raised, they stepped inside. The interior was worse than they'd imagined. The once sterile halls of the alien ship were now a twisted nightmare. The infection had spread rapidly, covering the walls in grotesque, fleshy tendrils that pulsed like they were alive. Strange, chittering noises echoed in the distance, and the air was thick with the scent of decay. Jesus, Eric whispered. Ava ran a hand along the wall, her face grim. The virus is changing the ship. Jackson moved ahead, his machete at the ready. Then we don't have much time. They pressed forward, navigating through the ruined corridors. Every step felt like walking through something that wasn't just metal anymore, like the ship itself was breathing. Then, they found it. A chamber filled with alien weapons. Rows of strange-looking rifles lined the walls, along with energy-based explosives and other devices they couldn't even begin to comprehend. Travis grinned. Jackpot. Eric rushed forward, grabbing one of the weapons. How do we even use these? Ava picked up what looked like a sleek, curved blade with glowing symbols along its edge. Guess we'll learn on the fly. Then, the walls moved. A deep, chittering sound filled the chamber. The fleshy growth along the walls began to pulse faster, and from the darkness, dozens of yellow glowing eyes opened. Travis cursed. They're in the damn walls. The first creature lunged. It was no longer just an infected alien. It was something worse. Its body was entirely consumed by the virus, its limbs elongated, its mouth split into multiple jaws lined with needle-like teeth. It shrieked. The horde followed. Travis fired the alien rifle. A streak of energy blasted through one of the creatures, disintegrating it instantly. "These work," he shouted. Jackson swung his machete, severing the head of another abomination. "Then keep shooting." Ava slashed with her new energy blade, slicing through an infected monster as if it were paper. But there were too many. Eric screamed as one of them tackled him, its claws digging into his chest. Travis turned, but he was too late. The last thing Eric saw was the yellow glow of its eyes before its jaws closed around his throat. Eric's scream ended in a sickening gurgle as the infected creature tore into him. His body convulsed for a moment before going limp, his eyes frozen in shock. Ava didn't hesitate, she drove her energy blade straight through the creature's head. The glowing weapon sliced through its mutated skull with a sizzle, and it collapsed onto Eric's lifeless body, twitching violently before falling still. "Damn it!" Travis fired another shot, blasting a second monster into pieces. He wanted to grieve, to rage, but there was no time. More infected creatures poured from the fleshy walls, their yellow eyes burning like twisted lanterns in the darkness. The entire ship was alive with the infection now, and they were trapped inside its heart. Jackson grabbed a rifle from the wall, fumbling with the alien weapon before finally getting it to fire. A bolt of blue energy lanced out, vaporizing one of the advancing horrors. "We need to move. Now." Travis kicked over a storage crate, scattering alien explosives across the floor. "Ava! Can you set these to blow?" Ava scanned the unfamiliar devices. "I don't even know what half of these do." "Guess we're about to find out." Travis tossed her one of the strange-looking detonators and pulled her toward the nearest hallway. Jackson covered their retreat, firing wildly at the incoming horde. The creatures were fast, faster than human zombies, but still somewhat erratic, like their bodies hadn't fully adjusted to the infection's control. That gave them a chance. They sprinted through the pulsating corridors, the walls moving around them as if the ship itself was shifting. Every so often, a fleshy tendril shot out from the organic growth, reaching for them like a living entity. "What the hell is this thing becoming?" Ava yelled as she dodged a grasping limb. Travis blasted it apart with a shotgun. "Nothing we want to stick around to find out." Jackson skidded to a halt at a junction where the ship's passageways split in 3 directions. "Which way?" Ava checked a flickering display panel on the wall. Alien text scrolled across the screen, most of it unreadable, except for one section. "Core Systems, Sector C." She pointed to the right. "There. If we take out the ship's power, we might cripple whatever this infection is trying to do." Travis nodded. "Then let's blow this thing to hell." They charged down the corridor, the distant shrieks of the infected growing louder behind them. The deeper they went, the more twisted the ship became. Entire sections of the walls had transformed into something grotesquely organic, pulsing masses of alien muscle, covered in what looked like veins pumping a sickly green fluid. "This virus isn't just infecting the aliens," Jackson muttered. "It's fusing with their tech." Ava's eyes darkened. "If it figures out how to control the ship." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. They reached the core systems chamber, a large, circular room with a central console surrounded by glowing alien machinery. The walls here hadn't been fully consumed yet, but patches of the infection pulsed across the surfaces, slowly creeping toward the controls. Ava rushed forward, scanning the alien interface. "I think I can overload the reactor, but we won't have much time to get out." Travis and Jackson took position at the entrance, holding back the advancing creatures. "Do it!" Travis barked, unloading another blast from his shotgun. The nearest abomination staggered, half of its torso missing, but it still kept coming. Ava's fingers danced over the strange console, pressing symbols that flickered beneath her touch. The ship trembled as alarms blared in an eerie, warbling alien tone. "Warning, core systems unstable. Evacuation protocol initiated." She turned, panting. "We've got 3 minutes before this whole place goes up." Jackson pulled a grenade from his vest, one of the alien explosives they had scavenged earlier. "Let's make sure nothing walks out of here alive." He activated the device and tossed it toward the approaching horde. The moment it hit the ground, a wave of white-hot energy exploded outward, vaporizing the front line of creatures. But more were coming. "Time to run!" Travis shouted. They bolted down the hallway as the ship shook violently. The infected walls screamed, a chorus of chittering, gurgling, and high-pitched shrieks. It was as if the entire vessel knew it was dying. The infection wasn't just mindless, it was aware. Chunks of debris crashed around them as they sprinted toward the exit. The path they had taken before was now nearly unrecognizable, swallowed by the infection's grotesque transformation. Ava slid to a stop as the ceiling in front of them caved in, blocking their escape. "We're cut off." Jackson pointed to the left. "There's another way, cargo bay doors." Travis didn't argue. He reloaded his shotgun on the run as they veered down the new corridor. More infected figures loomed ahead, crawling along the walls like spiders. Ava fired her alien rifle, disintegrating 2 of them before they could pounce. Almost there. The cargo bay doors came into view, massive, reinforced slabs of alien metal, partially open from the crash. Beyond them, the ruined city loomed. They were so close. Then the floor behind them erupted. A towering monstrosity burst forth, an infected alien, but larger than any they had seen before. Its body was completely fused with the infection, tendrils sprouting from its back like writhing appendages. Its eyes burned with malevolent intelligence. And it spoke. "You cannot escape." Travis gritted his teeth. "Oh, screw you." Jackson tossed his last explosive at the beast. The grenade detonated, engulfing the creature in a blinding burst of energy. The thing screeched in agony as its body was torn apart, blackened limbs flailing before it collapsed into the crumbling ruins of the infected ship. But there was no time to celebrate. The ship's reactor let out a final howl before the entire structure began imploding. The infection's living walls screamed in defiance, but it was too late. Travis, Ava, and Jackson leaped through the cargo bay doors just as the wreckage detonated behind them. A deafening explosion ripped through the city, sending shockwaves in all directions. Alien metal, fire, and infected remains were blasted skyward, and for a moment, the night was turned to day. The force of the blast threw them forward, slamming them onto the pavement. Silence followed. Then, Travis groaned, rolling onto his back. His ears were ringing. His body ached. But he was alive. Ava coughed, sitting up beside him. Jackson groaned in pain but managed to stand. They turned back toward the wreckage. The alien ship was gone, reduced to burning ruins. For the first time in a long while, it felt like they had won. Then, from the distance, a new sound. A deep, guttural roar. Travis slowly turned. His stomach twisted. Something else had survived. Something worse. The fire still raged in the distance, smoke curling into the sky like the dying breath of the alien warship. Travis, Ava, and Jackson stared at the burning wreckage, their bodies aching, lungs heaving from the desperate escape. They had won. Or so they thought. The roar echoed again, deep and guttural, something unnatural. Something wrong. It wasn't a zombie's mindless screech, nor the warbled sounds the aliens made. This was different. It was hungry. Jackson wiped the blood from his mouth. Tell me that was just an explosion messing with the wind. Ava was already on her feet, gripping her energy blade. That thing survived. Something survived. Travis pumped his shotgun. Then we make sure it doesn't walk away. The 3 of them moved cautiously through the ruined streets, their boots crunching over broken glass and scorched metal. The city was eerily quiet, too quiet. No groaning zombies, no clicking alien tongues. Just the lingering echo of that roar. Then, the ground shook. A deep tremor rolled through the ruins, rattling the remains of nearby buildings. Jackson swore under his breath. That ain't normal. Ava pointed toward a collapsed highway up ahead. Look! Through the smoke and fire, something moved. At first, it was just a shifting shadow, an indistinct shape that seemed to pulse in and out of focus. Then, as the smoke cleared, they saw it. And it saw them. The creature was massive, at least 15 feet tall, hunched over on grotesque, thick limbs that were neither entirely alien nor human. Its body was a horrific fusion of both, a chimeric abomination of flesh, metal, and infection. The viral growths that had consumed the alien ship had fused with this creature's body, its veins pulsing with sickly green light. Its head was an unnatural combination of an alien skull and a human face, stretched and distorted, its mouth lined with 3 sets of jagged teeth. But its eyes burned with something far worse than hunger. Intelligence. Ava took an instinctive step back. No way. It's thinking. The creature let out a low, rumbling growl before it spoke. You run. The voice was garbled, broken, but unmistakably sentient. Jackson gripped his machete tighter. Okay, that's new. Travis aimed his shotgun. Too bad for it, we don't run. The beast's body twitched, and before they could react, it moved. It was fast. 1 second, it was standing in the ruins. The next, it was right there. Travis barely had time to dive aside before a massive clawed arm smashed into the pavement where he had just been standing, cracking the concrete like it was paper. Jackson swung his machete, aiming for its leg, but the blade barely cut through the thick, pulsating flesh. The monster roared in pain but didn't slow down. Ava activated her energy blade, slashing at its side. The weapon burned through the infected tissue, and the creature staggered, shrieking in fury. Travis took the opening. He fired his shotgun point blank into its head. The blast tore through its skull, sending blackened chunks of flesh and bone flying. For a moment, the creature swayed. Then, its wounds closed. Right before their eyes, the infection reknit the destroyed flesh. Its skull regrew, the jagged teeth reforming in seconds. Travis's stomach dropped. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. The monster grinned. It slammed one massive fist into the ground, sending out a shockwave that knocked all 3 of them backward. Travis hit the pavement hard, his vision going white for a second. He groaned, forcing himself up. His ribs ached. His shotgun had been knocked from his grasp. Jackson was already pulling Ava to her feet. Travis. We can't kill this thing. No kidding, he spat. Ava wiped blood from her lip. We need a plan. The creature stalked toward them, its massive feet crushing debris underfoot. Then, it stopped. It cocked its head, as if listening to something unseen. Its body trembled, the green glow in its veins pulsing erratically. And then, without warning, it turned and ran. Travis blinked. Wait. What? Ava stepped forward cautiously, watching as the monster fled, its massive body disappearing into the ruins. Jackson stared after it, his face twisted in confusion. Did we scare it off? Travis didn't lower his weapon. No. It wasn't scared. He looked around. The night air was still thick with smoke and fire, but something had changed. The air felt different. Ava frowned. Then why did it? A sudden boom echoed from the sky. They all looked up. And froze. High above the city, the clouds were parting, revealing something massive descending through the smoke. A new alien warship, twice the size of the crashed one, was entering the atmosphere. Its hull was covered in glowing symbols, its sleek, obsidian-black surface reflecting the city below like a mirror. Unlike the first ship, this one wasn't damaged. It was pristine. Ava's throat tightened. Reinforcements. Jackson clenched his fists. The first wave wasn't here to conquer us. Travis exhaled. It was scouting. The realization hit them all at once. The aliens hadn't come to fight humanity. They had come to fight the infection. And now, round 2 was about to begin. Travis wiped sweat from his brow, glancing back at the ruins where the monster had disappeared. For all their weapons and tech, the aliens hadn't been able to contain this virus before. And neither had humans. Travis's grip tightened on his shotgun. Guess we're about to find out if anything can. The war for survival wasn't over. It was just getting started. The alien warship loomed above the ruined city, its sleek hull gleaming with an eerie, pulsating glow. It hovered in absolute silence, as if surveying the devastation below. Travis, Ava, and Jackson remained frozen, weapons ready, watching as the massive vessel released a pulse of blue energy. The wave rippled outward, passing over buildings, rubble, and corpses alike. Every infected body twitched, then fell still. Ava's breath caught. It's shutting them down? Jackson nudged one of the fallen zombies with his boot. It didn't react. The sickly green veins running through its skin had gone dim, lifeless. Either that, or it's resetting them, he muttered. Before they could process what was happening, the warship's underbelly split open, and a hatch extended downward. A beam of shimmering white light cascaded onto the ruined pavement, and from within the ship, figures descended. Unlike the first wave of aliens, tall, frail creatures easily consumed by the infection, these newcomers were different. They were built for war. Encased in obsidian black exosuits, standing nearly 8 feet tall, they moved with the precise, deliberate grace of trained soldiers. Their armor gleamed with shifting blue energy lines, and each carried a strange hybrid weapon, part rifle, part blade, humming with restrained power. Their helmets were smooth, featureless, devoid of eyes. One of them stepped forward, towering over the humans. A deep, resonant voice emerged from an unseen speaker within the suit. "You are uninfected." Travis tightened his grip on his shotgun. "Yeah. And let's keep it that way." The alien tilted its head slightly, then looked toward the smoking remains of the first warship, the one they had destroyed. "The infection has taken root in this world. Your species will not survive long." Ava scowled. "Gee, thanks for the vote of confidence." Another alien stepped forward, activating a holographic projection. A swirling map of the city formed in the air. It wasn't a normal layout. Glowing red zones pulsed like a living organism, spreading across the ruins. In the center of the map, the monster. The behemoth they had barely escaped was still alive, hidden within the crumbling remains of a collapsed skyscraper. Its massive body throbbed with shifting tendrils, mutating even further. The lead alien pointed at the hologram. "The abomination must be destroyed. If it escapes this region, your planet will fall." Travis exchanged glances with Ava and Jackson. "Okay. We're on the same page. Problem is, that thing shrugs off bullets, explosives, and, oh yeah, it heals." Jackson crossed his arms. "Got anything in that fancy ship of yours that can do the job?" The alien leader turned its faceless helm toward them. "Yes. But you will assist." Ava frowned. "Assist? What, you can't handle it yourselves?" "It adapts." The alien's voice carried no emotion. "Our kind has fought this infection across countless worlds. If it feeds on us, it will learn our weapons, our tactics, our weaknesses. It must not be allowed to evolve further." Travis exhaled sharply. "So you need us because it hasn't fought humans before." "Correct." Jackson smirked. "Well, that's new. The aliens need us for once." Travis turned back to the map. The red pulse of the monster's location throbbed like a heartbeat. "We need a plan." The alien leader gestured toward the warship. "Come. We will prepare." Later, aboard the alien warship. The inside of the warship was massive, a smooth, metallic chamber pulsing with unseen energy sources. The air smelled sterile. Cold. Weapons lined the walls, alien rifles, blades, and something bigger. The leader motioned to a heavy device resembling a cannon. It crackled with unstable blue energy. "This is a disruptor," the alien explained. "It does not destroy the body. It destroys the infection within." Ava examined the weapon. "So, what? It fries the virus. It severs its control." The host will die. The infection will burn. Jackson whistled. Now that's what I like to hear. Travis grabbed a smaller, rifle-sized version of the disruptor. It felt strangely light in his hands, humming with barely contained power. The alien leader regarded them. You will lure it into the open. We will strike from above. Ava's brow furrowed. Lure it how? The alien turned to the holographic map. The infected behemoth's location pulsed ominously. It remembers you. Travis's stomach twisted. He knew what that meant. It wanted them. And they were about to give it exactly what it wanted. Back in the ruined city. The plan was simple. Step 1, make the monster chase them. Step 2, lead it to the kill zone. Step 3, hope the disruptor worked. Travis stood in the middle of the ruined street, gripping the alien rifle. The silence was unbearable. Then, a deep, wet growl rumbled from the shadows. From the shattered remains of the skyscraper, something moved. Tendrils slithered through the rubble, dragging the monster forward. Its grotesque, mutated form had grown even worse, its skin rippling with shifting, pulsing faces, as if the infection had absorbed more victims into its flesh. It stepped into the open, towering over them. Its yellow eyes locked onto Travis. And it grinned. Travis didn't hesitate. He raised the disruptor. Pulled the trigger. A blast of blue energy streaked toward the monster. And it dodged. Travis's blood ran cold. The creature laughed. And then it charged. Ava screamed. Run! The team turned and bolted, sprinting toward the kill zone as the behemoth thundered after them. The plan was still on. But the monster was faster than before. It was learning. And if they didn't kill it this time, humanity was doomed. The abomination thundered through the ruins, its grotesque form pulsing with life. Travis, Ava, and Jackson sprinted through the shattered cityscape, weaving between crumbling buildings and overturned cars. The monster was faster now, its movements more fluid, its massive limbs no longer lumbering, but calculated. It was learning. And it was hungry. Move! Travis shouted as the ground exploded behind them, the creature's massive claws tearing through the pavement. The trio dove into a collapsed alleyway, barely avoiding a fleshy tendril that whipped past them, slicing through concrete like butter. Jackson gasped for air. This thing shouldn't be this fast. Ava gritted her teeth, gripping the alien disruptor rifle. It's evolving. That means it's getting cocky. Travis didn't slow down. They were almost there. The kill zone. Up ahead, the ruins opened into a wide intersection. At first glance, it was just another war-torn street, burned-out cars, shattered asphalt, skeletal remains of old buildings. But above them, hovering just out of sight behind the low-hanging clouds, was the warship. And waiting within. The alien's trump card. Travis spotted the signal beacon, a small, glowing orb embedded in a piece of rubble. He activated it with a single tap. The light flickered blue. The trap was set. Come on, you ugly bastard, Travis muttered under his breath. As if responding, the abomination screeched, a sickening fusion of alien distortion and human agony. Then it lunged. The trio scattered as the massive creature crashed into the intersection, sending debris flying in all directions. The pavement cracked under its sheer weight, and for the first time, the humans saw its full form. It had changed. The infection had twisted its body even further. Where there was once a humanoid torso, 3 new limbs had sprouted, clawed, elongated arms that pulsated with raw, writhing flesh. Its eyes had multiplied, spreading across its grotesque face like a spider's, each one glowing with a sickly, sentient intelligence. And its mouth, if it could even be called that, had grown wider. Rows upon rows of needle-like teeth lined its gaping maw, large enough to swallow a man whole. But worst of all, it was grinning. Travis raised his weapon. Now or never. He pulled the trigger. A pulse of blue energy erupted from the disruptor rifle, streaking toward the beast. The abomination twitched. And then, in an instant, it dodged. It knew. It had learned. Jackson's eyes widened. Oh, hell no! Before he could react, a tentacle shot forward, grabbing him by the leg. Jackson! Ava screamed. The monster yanked him into the air, its massive jaw opening wide. And then... boom! A massive energy blast slammed into the creature's side, knocking it backward. From above, the warship had fired. The sky trembled as the aliens descended. Jet-like thrusters propelled their armored forms downward as they landed around the intersection in perfect formation. Their disruptor weapons hummed with power. The lead alien raised a single hand. Fire! A storm of blue energy erupted, a barrage of disruptor blasts striking the abomination from all sides. It screamed. The infection fought back, its body warping, trying to heal. But this time, it wasn't working. The disruptors were burning it. Ava grabbed Jackson and pulled him free, just as the monster lashed out in rage. It charged. The aliens didn't flinch. They stood their ground. The leader activated a second device. A massive energy barrier deployed around the intersection, trapping the monster inside. It roared in fury, slamming against the glowing walls. But the barrier held. It was trapped. Travis exhaled sharply. Holy shit, it's working. The alien leader stepped forward, staring at the creature. Now we finish this. From the warship, something descended. A massive orb-like weapon, crackling with raw plasma energy, hovered into position above the abomination. The alien leader raised its hand. A single command. Annihilate. The orb detonated. A pillar of blinding light engulfed the intersection, turning night into day. The air rippled with a deafening shockwave, and the abomination's screeches became distorted, glitching, breaking apart. Until finally... silence. The light faded. The barrier collapsed. And where the abomination had once stood, nothing remained. Only ashes. Aftermath. Travis, Ava, and Jackson stood in stunned silence. The air still crackled with residual energy. The city was eerily quiet. It was over. The alien leader turned to them. The infection is contained. Jackson wiped blood from his lip. You're welcome. The alien studied them for a moment. You fought well. Your species is adaptable. Ava smirked. Yeah, we do that. Travis, however, wasn't celebrating yet. He looked toward the horizon. Because something still felt wrong. Is it really over? He asked quietly. The alien leader was silent for a long moment. Then, it turned its faceless helmet toward him. For now. Travis swallowed hard. What does that mean? The alien's voice was low. This world is infected. And we are not the only ones who will come for it. A cold chill ran down Travis's spine. The abomination had been stopped. But the war? It was far from over. The city lay in eerie silence. Smoke curled into the sky from the ruins, and the lingering heat from the annihilation blast still shimmered off the scorched ground. The abomination was gone. Or at least, the one they had just fought. Travis, Ava, and Jackson stood amidst the rubble, hearts still pounding. The alien leader, towering over them in its obsidian-black exosuit, turned its smooth, faceless helmet toward the sky. The infection is contained. Contained. Not eradicated. Travis exhaled sharply, gripping his disruptor rifle. So, that's it. Ava, hands on her knees, caught her breath. We just survived a two-way apocalypse. You'd think we'd get more of a break. Jackson wiped the blood from his lip. Yeah, well, I'll believe it when I stop smelling burnt mutant flesh. The alien leader didn't respond. Instead, it raised a single hand, and a holographic projection flared to life before them. A planetary map. Glowing red zones pulsated across the display, each one marking an active infection site. And there were hundreds. Travis felt his stomach sink. That's not just here, is it? No, the alien's voice was calm. The infection has spread beyond this region. Ava straightened. How bad are we talking? The alien's hand swiped across the hologram, zooming out. The red spread further. Not just the city. Not just the country. The entire planet. Travis clenched his jaw. We didn't stop it. We just slowed it down. Jackson ran a hand through his hair. Fantastic. The alien leader turned back to them. Your world has little time. Ava scowled. Then we take the fight to it. You saw what we did back there, we're fast learners. The alien was silent for a long moment. Then, it extended a single data device. Travis hesitated before taking it. A blue light flickered along its surface. Your species is adaptive, the alien leader admitted. You are not the first to fight this war, but you may be the first to survive it. Travis's grip tightened on the device. What's on here? Knowledge. A blueprint for what is to come. The alien paused. Your people will need it. Ava narrowed her eyes. Wait. Our people? Where are you going? The alien leader stepped back, turning toward its warship. This war is older than your kind. We fight it across galaxies. We cannot stay. Travis's chest tightened. You're leaving us. Jackson threw up his hands. Oh, sure. Wipe out one zombie kaiju and just bounce. That's cool. The alien's voice remained calm. We cannot fight this war for you. Only with you. Travis exhaled. He knew, deep down, that they were right. Earth wasn't the first planet to face this infection. But if humanity wanted to survive, they had to start fighting like it. The alien leader turned back one last time. We will return when the time comes. Then, without another word, they boarded their warship. The massive vessel hummed as its engines roared to life, and with a pulse of energy, it ascended into the sky. Within seconds, it was gone. Ava crossed her arms. Well, that sucks. Jackson let out a low whistle. We survived one apocalypse, and now we've got to prep for a planet-wide war? Travis stared down at the data device in his palm. It felt heavier than it should have. Because in that moment, he understood something. The war wasn't over. It had just begun. 1 week later. A military bunker deep beneath the ruins of Washington, D.C. buzzed with activity. The surviving remnants of the U.S. government, scientists, engineers, and what remained of the military, gathered around a holographic table, eyes fixed on the glowing blueprints. Alien technology. Weapons. Tactics. The knowledge humanity needed to stand a chance. Travis, Ava, and Jackson stood at the edge of the room, watching as the world's last hope was slowly taking shape. A new kind of army. A new kind of war. One that would decide the fate of humanity. Ava leaned toward Travis, voice low. You think we can actually win this? Travis clenched his fist. We don't have a choice. Above them, in the depths of space, something watched. Something waiting. Something worse.